All right, moving on, shifting our focus to the exercises that the Indian Armed Forces are doing now, planning to put Pakistan on notice. Remember, India is marking the beginning of its tri-combat exercise Trishul, which is focused primarily on the western sector and amphibious operations. This marks the biggest tri-services drill since Operation Sindoor. The exercise aims to validate joint operational procedures, enhance interoperability and strengthen network integration amongst the services. It will feature extensive maritime operations, including amphibious landings using INS Jalashwa and landing craft utility vessels, alongside carrier operations and air-sea coordinated missions with the Indian Air Force. So 3 areas where the drills will be carried out: the important Sir Creek sector, the focus of the maritime security, amphibious landings, and securing the difficult marshy estuary. It marks the highly sensitive westernmost boundary between India and Pakistan. The Saurashtra coast is a crucial maritime operations hub for the Indian Navy, utilized for naval maneuvers, coastal defense drills, and integrating naval air components. The Run of Kutch, or the desert zones, is utilized by the Army and the Indian Air Force for mechanized warfare, deep strikes, and offensive defensive maneuvers in a vast, harsh desert environment. The exercise involves a significant amount of deployment from the 3 services, showcasing their combined operational strength. Around 20,000 troops of the Indian Army to participate, supported by heavy armour like T-90S and Arjun tanks, along with howitzers for fire support from the Air Force, frontline fighter jets, including the Rafale and the Su-30 MKI, alongside support aircraft such as IL-78, transport, refuelers, and various unmanned aerial vehicles for surveillance and reconnaissance. From the Navy, it is committing major surface combatants, notably the aircraft carrier INS Vikrant and the amphibious transport dock INS Jalashwa, demonstrating significant power projection and amphibious capabilities. So what's the significance of this exercise? What is the message that India is sending to its enemies, particularly Pakistan, because this is happening on the Western Front? They are conducting these in Pakistan's western border, like Sir Creek. It signals India's readiness to operate in contested border zones. Pakistan's issuance of airspace restrictions on NOTAM ahead of this Trishul exercise also underscores the drill's perception. Coming after operations like Operation Sindoor, the drill connects with India's active operational posture rather than just training. The emphasis on theatre commands, joint logistics, and multi-domain warfare underlines India's transition to future-ready force structures. By using indigenous platforms and emphasizing Atmanirbharta, the exercise also aligns with the broader national defense strategy. Meanwhile, there is also alarm over what US President Donald Trump has said over the last couple of days. He has not just talked about how US will be restarting nuclear tests, but in his latest statement, he has also talked about how China and Pakistan have also been tested. Listen.
Russia's testing and China's testing, but they don't talk about it. You know, we're a open society. We're different. We talk about it. We have to talk about it, because otherwise you people are going to report. They don't have reporters that are going to be writing about it. We do. No, we're going to test because they test and others test. And certainly North Korea's been testing. Pakistan's been testing. They test way underground where people don't know exactly what's happening with the test. You feel a little bit of a vibration.
In context of everything that is going on across the world, US, China, Pakistan, and more, how should we look at this operation or exercise Trishul, and is it in effect putting Pakistan on notice more than anything else? A special guest is joining us. I want to go across to Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, author and defense expert, joining us on the show. First up, sir, how do you see the Trishul exercise that is going on? A lot of focus on it, a lot of chatter around it. Can you help our audiences understand the significance of this and those amphibious capabilities that are being talked about?
You know, just let me make 2-3 larger points and I'll come to amphibious operations. You know, Sindoor and Trishul, all this at least tell me that India is finally punching in accord with its strategic weight. Mm-hmm. You look at the economic differential with Pakistan, we are 10 times their size. Mm-hmm. You see Pakistan's economy, I think, is less than the market cap of Mumbai Stock Exchange. In all these years, there was this tiny country threatening us with terror, and then saying that should you respond militarily, we'll escalate. Now we've finally, reset the strategic calculus. I remember many years back, we did an exercise called brass tacks under General Sundarji, which was this massive mechanized maneuver which signaled to the Pakistanis that if we just wheel west, you will get balkanized further. And Pakistan got the message and then retreated to the subconventional domain. Now we are trying to tell, the people who really understand strategic military matters in Pakistan that kindly don't mess with us. Sindoor proved on the 10th of May that the reality is you are vulnerable, you were exposed, you had lost control of the skies. And if we had continued for another 48 hours, I mean, your very existence was threatened. We called your nuclear bluff. Now we are telling them that, see, Sindoor has not ceased. Trishul, we have expanded options. And of course, we are not telling them what the options are, but we are signaling that it is not only land, air, sea, it could be the amphibious domain. It could be in the area of Sir Creek. We shall not reveal our hand, but should you be so, shall I say, unwise to do any kind of terror attack, we mean business.
Yeah.
We will respond. I think very much in the Israeli mood. So, I mean, I think it is a pretty sensible decision. And only if Pakistan resorts to terror. You cannot have this terror rampage under a nuclear umbrella or, as part of any other strategic design. So the sensible people in Pakistan must understand that we have a military, we understand the utility of force, and we will use it as part of our statecraft in a calibrated manner. Trishul signals that.
Okay.
You saw exercises as part of Trishul in the maritime domain. You saw them in the amphibious domain. We saw some space mobilization. There were mobilizations in cyber. So India is, I'm not saying showcasing, but India is telling the Pakistanis that we have military might.
Absolutely.
These $90 billion that we spend on our military is not just to exercise self-restraint. And only if you provoke us. Another Pahalgam and see what we do. I mean, that's my understanding of Trishul and all these maneuvers. They are, a continuation of what we've done in the past as part of our stance.
So, why is this amphibious mode important and why now? Can you share your thoughts?
No, amphibious is nothing new. Amphibious is when you use a naval craft to, like you had Normandy, what you'll do in a Taiwan situation. So you use naval craft to, shall we say, onshore a body of soldiers, troops, who then carry out their normal tactical operations. So like you have land, air and sea, when you onshore a body of troops through amphibious craft, it is called amphibious operations. And we have many amphibious operations in the Sir Creek area, north and south of Karachi. I mean, see, India is a military power to reckon with. We are saying we can respond in any domain, air, space, cyber, land, along the line of control, along the international border, in the area of Chicken's Neck. I mean, there are tens and hundreds of options which we can exercise. We are a military force to reckon with, a very professional military. I mean, this strategic restraint was kind of misunderstood by Pakistan's strategic community. See what happened on 10th of May. They had lost control of the air. Pathetic. Even the much talked of Sino-Pak collusivity lay in tatters.
Yes.
Where were the J-10s, the J-17s retreating towards Afghanistan? And, Pakistan must smell the coffee. They have problems not only from the west, but also from the Taliban government, from the east, but also from the Taliban government to the west.
Yes.
They are strategically being encircled. And once again, India is not an expansionist power. We are very status quoist. We are just saying that stop this nonsense of terror. It will not work.
So how do you read into the response that we've seen from Pakistan? They issued a nav area warning, they might have possibly moved their air assets as well. What do you read into the Pakistani reaction because of these exercises?
Pakistan has very little options. It is just saber rattling. It knows India's military might. Soldier to soldier, they know what happened to 10th of May. And I'm not saying that, we should rest on our laurels. Pakistanis are getting J-20s, they're getting some stealth platforms, they're getting the HQ-19. So the air balance may well change in the next 8-9 months. But the reality of 10th of May is that they were vanquished. It's a shame for any army and air force. What happened? They had lost control of the skies.
Yes.
And now they are saber rattling. They are quite rattled. Therefore, what is that agreement with Saudi Arabia, getting the Turks in? But the Turks are not going to fight for them. Saudi Arabia is not going to fight for them. They'll give them some billions of dollars. They'll have to do the fighting. And they just can't do it. They know what the reality is. And I've seen this in my younger years, the exercises which I told you, brass tacks and all. The guy who got the message was Mirza Aslam Beg, their chief. And he retreated to a sub-conventional mode for decades. And once again, I'm saying, we are a part of a very professional military. We are not expansionist. We are status quoist. But kindly don't take us for a ride.
Yeah. I want to come to that issue of nuclear retesting that has caught everybody's eyes. The statement by Donald Trump saying that US is going to restart nuclear weapons testing, but also that China is doing it, Pakistan is doing it. What do you make of it? First up, can we trust his version? And if it is true, then what does it mean for India?
We must absolutely trust him. And I'm so glad that you asked this question. Because, there have been monumental changes in the global nuclear landscape last 8 to 10 years. Sadly, in India, the nuclear debates have been dead. Sadly. So I think Donald Trump has highlighted a very important metric of geopolitics. See what's happened. In recent years, China has expanded its nuclear arsenal by leaps and bounds. Number of warheads, silos, they've got 3,000 kilometers of tunnels in Western China. Lethality, they are in mega tonnages. They have, two distinct vectors, nuclear vectors. One is to target the American dispositions in the first and second island chain in Guam. You may call them tactical operational. And the strategic vector is targeting the American mainland. If you watch the parade in Beijing, I think a couple of weeks back, they showcased the nuclear triad. And they signaled to the Americans that in a Taiwan contingency, if China begins to lose, it reserves the right to exercise its nuclear options. It is moving from no first use to launch on warning. What is very worrying for the Americans is that North Korea now, their vectors have American mainland in range. And that has very serious consequences for extended deterrence in the Korean peninsula. Because if America comes to the conventional aid of South Korea, and the North Koreans threatened with nuclear targeting of the mainland, will China continue to come to the aid of South Korea? They are very serious questions. Russia, you have seen a lot of saber rattling in the recent past. You've seen the unveiling of the Burevestnik, if you're following the nuclear domain, which is a nuclear-powered cruise missile. It can pierce any defense shield. And just last week, it was the Poseidon, which is the underwater drone nuclear power. And if there is one political leader who understands the nuclear domain in all its finesse, it's Vladimir Putin. And he is using the nuclear rattle to great effect in Eurasian geopolitics. Which brings me to these tests. Now, I think it was in 1963 when a partial test ban treaty banned testing in all domains except underground. Then in 1996, a comprehensive test ban treaty banned testing across all domains, including underground. But, it is more of a global norm because the 44 nuclear weapon states all have not ratified the treaty. But largely to my knowledge, after 1992, nobody has tested except North Korea, except perhaps some countries on the sly, which is what Trump is pointing out to. He's telling the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, and also the Pakistanis. So, the Russians, Chinese, and North Koreans, I'm not surprised because they are really using the nuclear arsenal in an aggressive manner. In fact, their nuclear warheads, if you total them, will be double that of the Americans by 2027, 28. So I'm saying it's become a factor in geopolitics. And Pakistan, if it has been testing, it is worrisome for us because The after 1992, everybody resorted to computer-based simulations of nuclear tests in laboratories. But if you want to really be sure of the design of the warhead, you have to test physically. In fact, when we tested in 1998, I recall there were debates between Bharat Karnad and Mr. Santanam then, the DRDO chief, about the reliability of the test. So the tests, they give you, shall we say, the physics, but the weapon design has to be worked out through constant testing. So why Trump's statement is important, not merely because of testing, but how USA, Russia, China, all the big guys, North Korea, they are looking at the nuclear landscape as, nuclear weapons in this whole paradigm of national security. So my own view is that, thank God, for people like you to ask these questions, these debates should get revived. I recall in 1990, 2000, people like Mr. Subramaniam, Jayashankar's father, Air Commodores Jasjeet Singh, Uday Bhaskar, they were very deep conversations in national security, even in the nuclear domain. They are all dead. One doesn't see newspaper articles, media engagements. So I'm saying we must deepen these conversations and revisit our nuclear posture.
So in context of Pakistan, are you worried at all what Donald Trump has said, and what you're saying is that we must also start our retesting, given what Trump has said openly? Could this be a pass for India to do it as well, since you're talking about these global realities?
You see, I am of the view that Pakistan is just a pest. Our real threat is China. I mean, Pakistan, we shouldn't give more than 2 minutes to it in a 24-hour cycle. It's a pest. So that Pakistan is testing doesn't bother me. I'm saying that when Trump talks of testing, he is the larger fact that he's pointing to is that even the Americans are worried about the changing nuclear landscape. In that context, we must revisit our doctrine and our posture. I'm of the view it should move from transparency to ambiguity. Let the adversary wonder whether our nuclear warheads are ballistic, cruise, or hypersonics. We must invest in mega tonnages. We must invest in tactical nuclear weapons because they are a firebreak in the escalatory ladder. NFU, why say no first use? We should say that we will not be the first, but we will also not be the last. See, this is about statecraft, Sam Dam Dand Bhed. So those are the issues that I'm a votary of. And I'm saying that we must revisit the nuclear posture, look at our nuclear doctrine afresh. In fact, the appointment of the Chief of Defence Staff is very significant because the Chief of Defence Staff and the CNC SFC, of course, under complete political control, are major actors in this whole business of nuclear deterrence. You must seek an interview with the Chief of Defence Staff. Get his views, because it's a very critical actor. Okay. I'm saying that deepen these conversations, revisit these debates. Trump has pointed out to us, he makes these statements in a very, what shall I say, non-formal manner, so they seem very petulant, but actually it's not petulant. The whole MAGA camp, America is not focusing on tariffs. Tariffs is the distraction. Their national security posture is undergoing a complete revamp. Their investments, for example, in long-range precision have increased by 175%. They are revisiting their nuclear posture. And I'm saying that as India is now getting into the big league, we are the fourth largest economy, third largest economy. Every quiver in our statecraft needs to be sharp. So the conventional space, cyber, and also this nuclear business.
Okay. So time to revisit the no first use policy and other things as well. Lieutenant General Shukla, thanks a lot for joining us. I do look forward to discussing these issues more with you. But time for us to take your leave. Thanks a lot for watching Plain Speak. The Right Stand is coming up with Anand Nasir.